Okay, so we should probably get started. Let's have a roll call. I'll start. I just want to know who is on here. This is going to be really informal because we wanted it to mirror what we've done, what we do when, if you were physically here visiting us. This is just going to be a really informal conversation. We want to throw it mostly to y'all, our visitors. Just to get an idea of what kind of questions you have about the department and the programs and how everything's looking under the current circumstances. So I'll start out. My name is Geraldine Neville. I'm the Senior Administrative Program Coordinator for the department. And I'll kick it over to Dr. Miller, our Vice Chair.
So good afternoon, everybody. I'm Chuck Miller, and I'm a professor in the department and a toxicologist, and I'm directing the doctoral program. So if we have any doctoral students, you can talk to me. And I'll turn it over to Jeff.
Hello, everyone. I'm Jeff Wycliffe. I'm an associate professor in the department. Expertise in toxicology and risk assessment. I teach the graduate level risk assessment course. And I'm the program director for the MSPH in Environmental Health Sciences. And with that, I'll kick it over to Stephen Murphy.
Good afternoon, I guess, everybody. Don't know exactly what time zone you all are in, but in New Orleans, it's the afternoon. My name is Stephen Murphy. I'm an assistant professor in the department with expertise in disaster management, response, preparedness, operations. I teach a couple of graduate courses, environmental aspects of disasters, as well as population issues and planning and implementation in disaster response, and also an undergraduate class in our undergraduate program with actually Dr. Wycliffe that we just rolled out for the first time. I'm the de facto program director of the Disaster Management Master's in Public Health degree. And with that, I will roll it into, I think, Dr. Rando. I saw you online. Is that next?
Hello, everyone. I'm Roy Rando. I'm professor and academic director of the Industrial Hygiene program here at Tulane. And with that, I guess I'll turn it over to one of the students or applicants, potential applicants. Looks like Sierra Raby, you're maybe next. You want to introduce yourself, please?
Sure. I'm an applicant for environmental health sciences. And yeah, I haven't received an admissions decision yet, but hopefully soon. And yeah.
And you're applied to which program? The MSPH, is that correct, Sierra?
Yeah.
Okay. I'll take a look at your application a little later and connect with you and see where that's at.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
I see a Matthew Lang. You want to introduce yourself?
Hello, everyone. My name is Matt. I'm currently a senior at Gettysburg College, and I haven't applied yet, but my major is environmental health, so I was thinking either going the track of environmental health or possibly community health for the Masters of Public Health. I still haven't decided yet, but that's why I'm coming to these meetings. So.
Maybe Sarah's next.
Hi, everyone. Yes, my name is Sarah Vergara. I was accepted into the MSPH program for environmental health. And for my undergrad, I also studied public health. Yeah, look forward to hearing from the rest of you all.
And Sarah, did you defer to fall? Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay, so you're joining
fall.
Okay, cool.
Yes.
Cool. Okay, and was there someone else on? I see someone on the phone.
Hi, yes, I was having some Zoom issues. My name is Jill Van Weiss Spoonmore, and I'm actually a non-traditional student, I guess. I previously have a bachelor's degree and have in education, and I've been working in the veterinary field, and I'm actually looking at epidemiology, but then when I saw this you know, this, I guess, meeting come up, I thought I'd kind of see what the environmental health sciences were about, because I do think, you know, access to things like clean drinking water are very important. So, you know, see, but more of the epidemiological side. So I did want to see what the environmental health sciences had to offer. I have not applied yet. Hello?
Okay, well, I will kick it back over to the faculty, because I think that they can fill you in on more of that, Jill. Thank you for joining us.
So do we have any doctoral applicants in the group? Or are you all master's level?
I think everyone's interested on the master's level. Is that right?
Okay.
So
Correct.
Okay, so maybe Jeff can explain a little bit more about the MSPH program in environmental health sciences.
So the MSPH in environmental health sciences is a 45 credit hour course program. We have school-wide core courses. There's 6 of those that everyone has to take, whatever department they're in. And then we have another 7 programmatic core courses in the environmental health sciences that cover, you know, the real core issues in environmental health sciences: toxicology, risk assessment, water quality, microbiology, and those kinds of things. And we have some additional courses you can take as electives to fill out your full 45 credit hour program. When it comes to environmental health sciences, it's a really broad field. It's, you know, some of the really traditional things that you can think of related to water qualities, water sanitation, hygiene, food safety, food quality, occupational safety and health. But we also have a strong program in disaster management. You know, in virtually every disaster I can think of, there's some aspect of environmental health that's compromised, whether it be a technological disaster or a natural disaster. So those 2 programs really connect around this nexus of environmental health. I could provide more examples, but it's quite broad. You know, if you look at the pandemic we're in now, at its very core, it was an environmental health problem. It was a problem with animal husbandry, animal processing, food safety, and just poor hygiene conditions. And so it really links back to its core, an environmental health problem. We also, as with the other programs, we require a 200-hour practicum, and that's an experience that you'll have outside of the school. Similar to an internship, many of our students actually turn their practicum usually into their first place of employment. And those placements can be quite broad, from public health agencies to environmental consulting firms, public and private organizations, nonprofits. We have several nonprofits in the area that we typically place students with. We have several environmental consulting firms that we place students with. And then the last thing that's required is the integrated learning experience, or culminating experience as some people know it. And that's usually a presentation and a written document that really describes primary data or secondary data, or a particular public health issue that the student may want to review and provide information on. And that sort of ties up, you know, what's required to get through our program. Did I miss anything, Geraldine?
No, I think that about covers it.
Maybe I can kick it over to Stephen, and he can kind of describe the aspects of the disaster management program.
Can I ask a question to Jeff?
Oh, sure.
Sure.
Hi. I'm just wondering, for the practicum, is it usually like over a summer period, or is it spread all throughout the program? Because I know at some of other universities, their environmental health like practicums were over the summer, so a lot of students didn't do them where the university is based. Is that the same at Tulane, or is it usually like the students stay in New Orleans for that?
No, it's the same. Most students do it over a summer, and have students that we've placed all over the place. It's not restricted to New Orleans by any means. And if some students come in with a really a good idea of where they want to do their practicum, and then the goal is to get them into that situation. And some students are not quite sure, so we offer a little more guidance to those students to help them find a practicum that is meaningful to them.
Thank you.
Sure. I guess other questions for the MSPH?
One thing I would add, and for the environmental health and disaster management and industrial hygiene, the job opportunities when you leave will be very good. So, and salaries are usually good in our field as well, in our fields as well. So that's something to consider about choosing a department and a program. And our school has been very, very successful in placing everybody when they are at the time when they're graduating. So just, you know, think down the road, not just getting a degree, but what you're going to do with your degree. All right.
And because we are we are a smaller department, it provides a lot of opportunity to work very closely with the faculty and you know, create very valuable mentor-mentee relationships where you can craft those practicum experiences to really set you up toward whatever your career objectives are post-degree. So that's a great advantage of this department. And in addition to being able to craft it toward whatever objectives you might have coming in, New Orleans also does have a lot of opportunities locally. So whether your intentions are to create a career path that takes you globally or domestically, there are a number of opportunities that you can work with the faculty on board.
Yeah, and we are an active research department. We have faculty that are actively doing research, and sometimes master students want to get more involved in that. Some of our master students want to go on and earn a PhD somewhere. And so we don't require you to get involved in our research projects, but there is the option to get involved. All right, I'll be quiet, Stephen.
All right. So I know you guys aren't necessarily interested in the disaster management program itself, but it's good to kind of get an idea of how we intersect in some of the courses that you may choose to fulfill your electives. As Jeff stated, it's very similar. Our requirements, as it relates to your credit hours, you do have the same school core classes that everybody takes, as Dr. Woodcliff alluded to. Within the program requirements in our department for the disaster-related track, you see a little bit of an intersection with the MSPH degree with principles of toxicology requirements, and Dr. Woodcliff's class as well with the health risk assessment. We have an environmental policy class. And after that, it really goes into your disaster-related core classes. And that's the two classes that I teach. And there's a mental health class. It's entitled Psychosocial Aspects of Disasters. And that gets into your mental health issues that are always prominent following a disaster in some of your, intervention processes and some of the things you need to be aware of as it relates to ongoing mental health concerns following that. We partner with various experts across the school to come in and give expert lectures as it relates to those courses. So we like to offer that to our students to see a little bit of a different perspective. In my courses, I always bring in state and regional and city experts to come in and give a true field experience, practice-based experience as it relates to hurricane response. I worked about 15 years in the Homeland Security and emergency management fields, public health preparedness fields, and was part of the team that did a lot of the work post-Katrina. And so every plan that exists in New Orleans today at least has some semblance of my fingerprints on it. And so the folks that operate those plans now come in and talk to us about it. And so it gives you a true practice feel for what it is you're studying. With that said, it parlays right into a natural fit for your practicum. A lot of our students get excellent practicum opportunities. They do an excellent job in the fields with the New Orleans Health Department, with either the state health department, Office of Public Health, even hospitals that are looking at emergency preparedness and environmental health experts that can get an internship there. We have a strong network, not just in New Orleans and Louisiana, but really across our professional networks that help guide you to various practicum placements, can put you in touch with folks that are in the field to see if that's a niche that you may want to focus on or maybe get extra exposure to, no pun intended. And some of the practicum placements do lead to jobs. I'll be the first to tell you, I was one of the first master's students back in the day in the mid 2000s that finished the disaster management program when it was the first one created and that was accredited. And it led to my job. It led to the first job I had in this space. And so we kind of naturally have that organic connections there with the city, with the state to help place you. Dr. Woodcliff mentioned a little bit of this too. But we have, for example, one of our students just accepted an ORISE fellowship at the CDC, who's going to become a PhD student. He deferred his acceptance, but it is with the National Center of Environmental Health, but he's in the actual emergency management and chemical exposure branch. So there's that natural fit of environmental health and disaster response. It's a pretty popular track, and the courses are open to the entire school, especially in our department. So if you were to choose the MSPH, you can certainly choose some of the disaster courses to fulfill some elective requirements. And I'll be quiet. Any questions?
Have some of the practicums been done internationally, or is it mostly in the U.S.?
Mostly in the U.S. We have had a few students go international, and those international students tended, or should I say, have returned to their home country. We had a student that just recently finished, and she actually went and did infectious disease surveillance on MERS, ironically, with what's going on right now, with the Ministry of the Hajj and the Ministry of the Health in Saudi Arabia. And so that was a very powerful practicum. Not really sure how she was able to get that. That was very, very good of her. But it was an incredible opportunity for her. And it actually, she now works in that area. She was employed immediately. But most of our students stay domestically. That's where the majority of my connections, for example, tend to be. But I do have a few international folks I can put you in touch with if that were to be the case.
Any other questions? Roy, do you want to give them a little background on the industrial hygiene program?
Sure, thanks, Jeff. So we have, in addition to the MSPH in environmental health science, we also have an MSPH in industrial hygiene that's considered a distinct program, separate program. And part of the reason for that is that we are accredited specifically by ABET, A-B-E-T. They go by the acronym these days officially, but the acronym used to stand for the American Board for Engineering and Technology. And because of the requirements for accreditation, we have to have a separate degree specifically for our IH graduates. And their transcripts actually say industrial hygiene on their degree. So the MSPH in industrial hygiene is a 46 credit hour program. Again, because of our requirements under ABET accreditation, we have a very specific curriculum for the industrial hygiene program students. And there are no electives in that program. All the coursework is required. There is a lot of overlap with other programs in our department as well, but we have a core of very specific courses that are geared toward the industrial hygiene students. So just in case you don't know what industrial hygiene is, and I'm only saying that because most of the time people don't know what it is. Industrial hygiene is a science. It's an applied public health science, and it's focused on anticipating and evaluating and controlling hazards primarily in the workplace. These hazards arise from chemical exposures, exposure to biological agents, and exposure to physical agents such as noise and heat stress and those sorts of things. Control is a very big part of industrial hygiene, and I just bring that up now because of the situation that we're currently in. Personal protective equipment is considered, one of the control options that we rely on to manage exposure to these risks in the workplace. And I've been fielding a lot of questions in the last few weeks on personal protective equipment and its use for protection against COVID-19. Especially, N95s and surgical masks and so forth. You've probably heard the term N95 1,000 times already if you've been following the news. And so industrial hygienists are involved in those kinds of issues as well. I'll also point out that we have a Niosh training program grant for our MSPH industrial hygiene program. And through that program grant, Niosh provides funding for selected students in the program. For on-campus students, they are eligible to receive a stipend and partial tuition support through Niosh. And I mentioned on campus, we also have a distance learning component to this program. So we have both on-campus students who are usually full-time here physically, and we have distance learning students who are generally part-time and are scattered all over the place, even in other countries on occasion. The distance learning students are also eligible under the Niosh training program grant, but only for partial tuition support. So are there any questions about the IH program? Be happy to answer them.
Yeah, and just to kind of reiterate what Dr. Miller said earlier, and dovetailing with what Dr. Rando just discussed, the job opportunities in our field are really good. There's great opportunities in industrial. A lot of times people hear that word and they think it's somebody wearing a hard hat and making everybody in the chemical plant, wear their respirators or whatever else. But when you think of industrial hygiene and occupational safety and health, any workplace is a potential place where that kind of expertise is needed. I mean, Tulane has an environmental health program, designed to govern the workplace safety and health for its employees. So it's really much wider field than a lot of people think it is. Any questions for Dr. Rando or any of us?
Where is everybody? Matt, where are you?
I'm on Long Island.
And where in Long Island?
Huntington.
Okay. I'm from the Northeast myself. I grew up in New Jersey. What if you haven't applied yet, correct?
Yeah.
If you were to apply, what semester were you looking into? Fall
2020.
Fall 2020. Okay. And Sierra, where are you?
I'm in Long Beach, California.
Long Beach, California. Okay.
And I applied for fall 2020.
For fall 2020. I'm just trying to get an idea of where y'all are at in the inquiry stage. And Sarah, where are you?
I'm actually in New Orleans at the moment.
In New Orleans?
Yeah.
Okay. Got it. And Jill?
I'm also in New Orleans.
Okay. And if you were to, you haven't applied yet, but if you were to apply, you were looking at fall as well?
Probably.
Do you all have any questions about how the current situation has affected that semester or anything like that? Since we have several people on board that can answer those questions.
Okay.
Yeah, I was actually wondering about how this is affecting that, if there will be more like online learning, or yeah. I guess
That's
just general.
that's an area of active discussion right now. I think right now, from what I understand, the current plan is to be on site in the fall of 2020. This summer, we're online. So that doesn't affect you all, but just so you kind of know where we are in all of this. It's a fluid situation. I can't speak, to an absolute regarding the fall, but right now the plan is to have our courses delivered on site here in New Orleans.
Thank you.
Yeah, I'll just follow up with that. The administration's plan is to try to bring on-campus classes back for the fall. Now, they are looking at the possibility that the start of the on-campus sessions may have to be delayed a little bit into the fall, but they're hopeful at a minimum they'll start doing the normal on-campus courses sometime in the fall, if not at the beginning of the fall.
I'd just say, regardless of what happens, we'll be prepared to teach and deliver the program. And obviously, we do prefer to be on campus.
Yeah, and the other thing, that I can say is that Tulane School of Public Health in particular has had a pretty good history now of doing programs and courses online since the mid-1990s. I mentioned earlier that the industrial hygiene program has both on-campus and distance learning. We started the distance learning program in IH in 1995. So we've been at it quite a while. We have a lot of experience, a lot of technical staff who are well-versed with how to, the technical aspects of delivering courses online. And our faculty, many of our faculty have experience in teaching online and making that transition from the classroom to the internet.
Yeah, no matter what happens, we will be here teaching our courses, even if we're doing it through a platform very similar to this one. We've been spending a lot of time on Zoom. All of our courses had to continue on as they have everywhere. And so for those folks who didn't have much experience teaching online, I would say they gained a great deal of experience through the back half of this semester. And this university provides a lot of support for online platforms. So we're pretty well set up for this. Though I do prefer on-site myself.
It's hard to do Mardi Gras online. Oh, next Mardi Gras may have to be online depending on how this goes.
I was about to say, there's some discussions about that, right?
Yeah.
Very heated discussions about that.
Virtual parading. How exciting.
Well, we adapt.
It would cut down on the bead trash. That wouldn't bother me much.
This is true.
Other questions, comments? And just to let you know that we're just an email away. You can connect to us through Geraldine, or you can send us emails directly if you have any questions. So we're all very responsive to emails. So if you think of something after this is concluded, just shoot us an email.
And I've connected with all of y'all already yesterday evening. I sent emails to all of you, so I'll probably just circle back with you in case you have any questions that popped up after we leave this this conference. So you have my email address. Feel free to drop me a line, but I will be circling back as well, just to see if there's anything that may have come up after this meeting.
I have two more questions.
Mhm.
The first one is, if courses were to go online for this fall, would there still be opportunities for research with faculty online? And also, I'm thinking about financial aid options, and I submitted my FAFSA pretty late because I am an evacuated Peace Corps volunteer, so I didn't think I would be going to school this fall. So I'm not sure I'll get federal aid. So I'm wondering, if I am admitted, are there options within the department for like department-specific aid, or are there options for like research with faculty that you receive a stipend for, or something along those lines?
So as far as the research opportunities go, obviously we have several wet labs, typical bench labs, where we do, controlled experiments with cells and things like that. Obviously, if we're distant, then those aren't really possibilities, but we do have a lot of other studies going on that are fairly data rich. And I've had a lot of students get involved in those studies as well. And that doesn't really involve you going out and collecting a lot of data, but working with the primary data that we are collecting. I've had students actually use that for their integrated learning experience. So I still see those as viable opportunities. I will punt the ball to Geraldine on the financial aid stuff.
I think that there is some opportunity. We've had some additional funding, small scholarships that have popped up this semester. I'm still working out the kinks of how that would be distributed, but there is that funding, but I have to work out the logistics of how that is being offered. So it would be on a case-by-case basis. But I do know also that there are opportunities for example, our chair has active research and connections in Suriname, and she was this summer actually able to set up some students with research related to their practicum in Suriname, because they obviously couldn't do on-site practica. So those opportunities exist as well. So there are options for.
I don't know what Suriname is.
The country of Suriname in South America.
Oh, okay, thank you.
No worries. A lot of people don't know where it is. Yeah, so those opportunities exist, and there's also opportunities for paid TAships and assistantships, both within the department and outside of the department. Students can certainly seek research assistantships, teaching assistantships, and other positions of that sort within the university, within the university at large, not just the school. So the opportunities are there, and we can also connect you with career services. They also have listings of those opportunities as well.
Yeah, and you can look into the school has a financial aid office as well.
Mm-hmm.
We can send you links to the website. You can start there as well. And I do know the dean's office has been developing some small scholarships, and I don't think any of us know exactly how that's being rolled out right now because it's a new program. But there's potential opportunities there too.
Thank you, everyone.
Mm-hmm. All right. So I think that's it for us. Dylan, is there anything that you'd like to add on your end?
No, I think you guys got it. I'm going to be sending a follow-up to everybody who has attended any of our webinars and Zoom meetings, because I think, I know, Matthew, you've been in a few of them, which is awesome. But you'll be hearing from me. Like Geraldine said, she'll probably circle back and follow up with you guys, but I think I don't have anything else.
All right. Well, thank you so much for taking time, everybody for taking time out of your afternoon or late morning, wherever you may be. I will be following up. If you have any questions directly for any of the faculty, I also posted them in to some of the emails that I sent out as well. So yeah, it's been great chatting with you today.
Yes, thanks for attending, everybody.
Thanks for your time.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Everybody.
Hey,
Thank you.
Thank
Bye.
you.